Ahoy, and welcome to the Hague Tech podcast. I'm here, of course, again with my co-host Thomas, and we're here sitting down today with Danny Frietman, who's a big part of the Hague Tech and going to tell us a bit about what he does within the Hague Tech, his vision for the organization, and then give an update about some events that have happened within the last months. So I can just throw it over to you and
absolutely
ask, because I've seen you around the Hague Tech.
Yes.
I know you do things with the Hague Tech.
Absolutely.
If you could tell me a bit more exact what you actually do other than just hang out with us.
Well, basically I'm a warm friend of the house. I'm part of the advisory board of the Hague Tech. I've been working with Thomas, Peter, and Brian, of course, in the last year hard on reaching out to potential partners and customers for the Hague Tech. And basically I'm a fan because I believe that the Hague Tech is filling a niche, a need for the city which haven't been out there. So I'm very proud to be part of this team, and that's why I'm here. I hang out and I help.
So what was it that really brought the Hague Tech to something that you felt you needed to take part of?
I think we have a very fragmented view in The Hague as it is around tech startups, people that are looking for jobs. There wasn't actually an innovation cluster. So it was all fragmented in offices around here. And what we were missing, and I think the Hague Tech is filling a very important gap in that, is like an holistic view, also a physical place where just people can go to, meet other entrepreneurs, which can grow, not of course ecological, like on the spot, right, but also in other parts of The Hague. And I think that's why the Hague Tech does what it does. And I think we're only here 1.5 years, right? But I think the potential and the ambition, which we already was shown in The Hague, I think is also fundamental for things we're doing currently in Humanity Hub with the Peace Innovation Lab. So there's stuff happening also due to the fact that Hague Tech has started.
Danny, perhaps also for the viewers and listeners, what's your own background? Because you do like a million of things here in this city.
Yeah,
so just give us the three most important ones. So we already discussed the Hague Tech, but what are the other two?
I think basically, if you boil down to what I normally do in a week, Thomas, is that I will be 47 this year. I have a background in business administration, right? So I started my first company already 20 years back. It was a little bit too early though and too young. And I think basically what I do with my companies is that I connect people to people, but always around specific topics. Mm. And I used to be an advisory partner in an advisory firms, but I learned that through content, through topics like mobile or blockchain or IT, I get the ability to connect, humongous groups of people here in the Netherlands, but also outside of the Netherlands with each other.
So you perceive yourself as a connector?
That's basically what people say. I think, on social, I just call myself a tech entrepreneur and investor, which I am. But indeed, that also makes it, I do a lot of stuff, which I like. But it's basically always around small things and reaching out to people and people reaching out to me.
What tech developments make you happy at the moment?
I'm getting really enthusiastic about blockchain because I think it is fundamentally changing discussions we have also here at Hague Tech. Last year I had the opportunity to bring a fast-scaling blockchain company from Bangalore to The Hague, Cripsy, which we invested in also. And I think blockchain is changing rapidly discussions around safety, security. Also, discussion this last week with Facebook, right? And I think that's gets me warm. And I think if you look back at Mobile Congress, right, is I think 5G, where we spoke about a lot during that week, is happening much sooner than I also hoped for. Mm. And I think 5G will be fundamental in leveraging on potential new innovations such as blockchain into things in the near future. So
yeah.
I'm
so
pretty happy with that as well.
5G is the major takeaway of Mobile World Congress.
It is.
Talking about latency but. Perhaps moving on to that topic, you were there.
Yes.
With your organization Enterprise Summit.
Yes.
And you organized the
Dutch Pavilion.
The Dutch Pavilion,
yeah.
Which is very known amongst every Dutch visitor of the Mobile World Congress event.
And which Thomas and I were lucky enough to be a
and
part of.
We were there too. Yeah.
Very happy to be there.
So 5G was a major topic there. What else? Did you saw something interesting?
I think still, what we saw also was, of course, there were a lot of things about robotics, self-driving cars, but also and Internet of Things. I think if you narrowed it down, everything we saw was related to those kind of topics, and of course there were new introduction of phones, and there were of course large vendors that were claiming that they were the newest, hottest company out there. But it all boiled down to what can we do with new 5G in context of self-driving cars.
Interesting question. Do you think that Mobile World Congress managed to show what you can do with 5G? Because everybody talks about it, but it's definitely about implementation.
Absolutely. I think some of the parties, yes, but I think it is still in its infancies. I think so. That also answers your question, Thomas. I think next year will much more be about hitting the spot and doing something very concrete with 5G.
Yeah.
But I think the also envision is that we will see in the next year before February 2019, again Mobile Congress, that we will see 5G already hitting the Netherlands in specific regions, and I think specifically Rotterdam, more specifically the harbor, will be a test pilot for 5G, and we will see, I think, very interesting things happening there.
Is it a potential for the city of The Hague to do something with 5G?
Absolutely.
Since we used to be the city of tech and
Yes.
telco.
Well, we shifted a little bit, of course, also to the fact that KPN's head office merged to Rotterdam. Now we are much more into the security and of course the piece, the human part of tech. I think with the attraction of Stanford, the launch of the Humanity Hub, the Living Lab project in Scheveningen, in combination with the coming of the Volvo Ocean Race in June, I think there's still a lot of momentum still happening in The Hague where we are proud of, and I think where we can take momentum of.
Also with 5G.
Absolutely.
Okay, interesting. And moving from Mobile World Congress, I think 1 week later you went to Austin.
Yeah.
5 days later.
Yeah, well, I'm lucky to if you look at what we've been doing the last years, building pavilions and programming around Mobile World Congress, Web Summit, Smart City. I also was asked by my government to build a new plan for South by 2 years ago, which we launched last year.
South by Southwest for the viewers.
South by
and
Southwest,
listeners.
awesome.
Of course, we're talking in slang because we're part of the group that are interested in that one.
420,000 people came this year in Austin, Texas. We went with a group of 55 companies, 22 startups. Was led by our Prince Constantine Special Envoy. And I think the Hague Tech was there as also with of course with some startups, right? Yeah. And the Hague was there. I was, it's just it has no comparison whatsoever with the Mobile Congress because it's just a city,
it's a
festival. It is scattered around, but Elon Musk just showed up right a couple hours before he was on stage. Arnold Schwarzenegger, the mayor from London, Mayor Khan was there. The mayor of New York, so it was all
and our prince,
but also
course,
the CIO of The Hague, opening up, closing down the official drinks from the South by City Summit with the CTO of New York, right? So I think we put a bulge on The Hague there as well.
So what you can say is that The Hague really has an international network. We're dealing with the people who are in the forefront of technology,
Absolutely.
Innovation. What were your takeaways from South by Southwest? I mean, what was the main topic that really inspired you? What was interesting?
Well, I think if you look at a topic which was just launched 4 months ago within South by, the City Summit, which we probably would call the Netherlands Smart City, that was an overwhelming success. With it's also the mayor of London, Khan, speaking as a keynote. Due to the fact that cities, even like The Hague, are becoming the local communities of the world, right? Everything is happening in this vibrant local community in cities. And I think the key takeaway, even looking at Austin with 420,000 people, is that innovation and also work, people connecting to each other is in the city. So that's where also the most emphasis should be, from my perspective, for The Hague Tech, is that we still focus on leveraging the momentum we have and making connection also to the national community in the Hague.
That's an interesting perspective you provide, because can you say then, based on what you just mentioned, that cities in their positioning worldwide are becoming more on the forefront than, for instance, countries?
Well,
for instance, shouldn't we have the Hague Tech Pavilion at Mobile World Congress instead of a Holland Pavilion?
That's a very interesting. I believe that in Estonia, with their digital vision on registering people, but also on the digital economy, I think cities will become maybe at some stage, even if more important than central governments.
Yeah.
And I think Amsterdam is, a very good example, of course, and we look with pride, but also sometimes a little bit jealousy toward Amsterdam, is the impact they have in the Netherlands, but also outside.
Yeah.
And what they can do and the resources they have.
Yeah.
It's a small community, right?
Yeah.
It's about promoting not only a national culture, but a city culture, a
Absolutely,
regional culture.
yes.
Because, for example, at Mobile World Congress, you could see there were national pavilions. I mean, I guess we're calling Holland
Yeah.
the national
Exactly,
pavilion.
yes.
It's not the Netherlands, but it fits into that.
Yes.
And then Germany actually didn't come as a country; they came as specific regions.
Absolutely.
And you then had the Catalan pavilion, which was most of the Catalonian companies trying to show off regional
Yeah.
pride, whereas then you saw Korea came as a country.
Yeah.
I think it was Ireland came as a country, and we were next to Russia as
Yeah.
a country. But you really saw that the same culture was permeating from all of the
Yeah.
different things, no matter region, country, or city.
True. And I think what I really miss about Mobile World Congress is that that's why I do believe in the Dutch pavilion for Mobile World Congress, Thomas. But it should never be only exclusive for The Hague. What I would love is that other cities would join me towards Mobile World Congress. That happened for South by. So Amsterdam, Rotterdam, The Hague, they formed a pact to go with us to South by, right? The only one I really truly miss is Eindhoven because of their design principles, right? They also should have come.
Yeah. So if there are viewers or listeners from Eindhoven,
Absolutely.
should they contact you?
They
Email?
should absolutely contact you, Thomas, or Brian, or me. But I think at some stage we should be, it's an open platform, right?
Yeah.
So the Dutch is even for Groningen and Leeuwarders, join us, right?
Yeah.
And come over to Barcelona and South by next year.
Great
Yeah.
takeaways, Danny. Thanks
Absolutely.
for sharing.
Yeah, no, perfect. And thank you so much for joining
You're
us
welcome.
today.
Yes.
It's really great that we got to have an introduction to where you fit into the community, where you fit into The Hague, and also a bit of a personal
Yeah.
background, which is always nice to have.
Absolutely.
And I'd like to thank all of you for joining us today, and to make sure to subscribe to us on iTunes, SoundCloud, and other things. there's other platforms, I promise that. We'll add them in the show notes. I'd also like to add that there's a lot of things that we talked about today that Danny brought up in terms of initiatives and different organizations within The Hague and within the Netherlands. And we'll make sure to add links to all of those so that you can follow along and learn about some of the stuff that we didn't have time to cover in length today. I'd also again like to thank the new media studio with Martijn and Jair for providing all of this, and the Hague Tech for providing the platform to allow us to do this. And we hope to see you next time. Thank you
Absolutely.
very much.
Thanks.
Bye, guys.